Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by our lovely sponsor, Pawtion, an all-natural, single-protein dog food snack company. Go to pawtion.com.au, enter Muscle Talks 25 for 25% off your first order. Enter Muscle Talks 10 for continued order. Also, our premium Australian supplement company, Primabolics, best protein and pre-workouts and more on the market. Please go to primabolics.com.au, enter the amazing discount code MuscleTalks15 to get 15% off. And if you're wondering about our wonderful candles here, I'll let you know more about Rest and Fuel in weeks to come. Okay, let's get this podcast started.
You know, when I say I was an average student, I wasn't actually. In primary school, I was very average. But as I said, my dad always told me, it doesn't matter. You have to keep working hard and you'll get better. So he used to use an expression with me. He said, you've got to sharpen your mind. Like a pencil, you've got to sharpen it. You've got to keep working, and you'll get sharper, you'll get smarter. I remember always thinking, okay, no matter what I'm doing, even if it's hard, I've got to keep pushing. I wish I could tell you that being a psychologist makes you immune to turmoil, to struggles, but I can't be my own psychologist, and I'm human like everybody else. First of all, yes, psychologists are humans too. We have thoughts, we have feelings, and we're not going to know all the answers to help ourselves. Just like sometimes see doctors are the worst patients. Yeah. I mean, I think sometimes if we're putting ourselves down or calling ourselves a loser, is that because you don't like yourself, or because you're comparing yourself to other people as well? Is it more in a comparison? I think what I lacked at the time that made it difficult was I didn't have any skills in being assertive and standing up for myself. That's what I was lacking.
2018, she burns the bridges. 2019, it's when she reignites. She once was a poet, so now I'm going to try and describe her short and show it. In short and show it, try to describe it. Author at heart, mental health warrior at large. Abusive relationship, not her thing. Family support gave her wings. There you go, that's a bit of poetry. Goes on dating sites and gets herself a gym buddy. Was told she's got potential. 3 competitions in now. Her mission is to bridge the gap between bodybuilding and mental health. She helps not make post-comp blues such a bad thing. 2-hour walks got her to the gym. Can a psychologist have so much swagger, a tattoo or two, and show off to us all that she means business, whether in a bikini or sitting in an armchair? Let's find out more and welcome Dr. Effie, the bodybuilding psychologist.
Oh, love that intro. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Yes, I mean, when you hear it back properly, you'll understand. But whether she's in a bikini, and we obviously know that means you're on stage, or sitting in an armchair, and we know we're in your office, let's find out more about you and how can we take you so seriously. So how are you?
I'm really well, thank you.
Really well? That's good. How's it's only Tuesday, how's the week going?
Yeah, so far so good.
Mm-hmm.
I like to train early in the morning, so I've already been there and done that. So that gives me, the energy for the day. So I'm good now.
What did you train?
It was upper day, so shoulders and
shoulders and
back.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah. Shoulders and back. Yeah, I did upper day last night. I did chest. I did outer delts. So chest and outer delts.
Yeah.
So that was a good workout. I did it late at night because I was writing scripts. All right, it was, oh my God. I mean, I wrote yours quite quickly and I told you I was enjoying it. I felt like I was writing a movie and I was describing the character, but even though you gave me all the scenes, so I was kind of like picturing. And then, yeah, so it was good. It was good. Writing scripts, actually, since you're a psychologist, it's the only thing that gives me anxiety, not the podcast. Because I don't know you. I mean, I do know you because we got to speak a little bit prior, but imagine not knowing someone and I'm writing a script, have a conversation with them. And before I write the script, I actually really don't know them, right? But when I write the script, now I feel like I know them. So I'm ready to meet them. So even before I put pen to paper, I'm like thinking to myself, like, Steve, man, what the hell? Like, yeah, you don't even know this person. So I start researching them. I go through their socials. And then by the end of it, we've got something to go with. So having said that, and Steve, can you stop talking now? Why does bodybuilding, going to the gym, that is, mental health, seem to go together hand in hand, and that going to the gym is a preventative measure to get you out of it, a tool for mental health? And why not everything else? Like, why isn't tennis, golf, soccer, team sports, but a sport that can be so isolating, like you're on your own, a sport where you are literally, around people, around the noise, but in a sense isolated. And also, I guess another sport would be powerlifting too. So my question is, why is the gym spoken so highly about mental health and not any other sport?
First of all, I don't know that I totally agree with that, because I think lots of sports have mental health benefit.
Okay,
you know,
I understand.
Because like running, people get the runner's high. Lots of sports, you get like the endorphins rushing through you, and I think that's the part that makes you feel so good. Probably where bodybuilding is different is, first of all, it's you versus you. A lot of it. So unlike tennis, where you're playing someone, running is also you versus you if you're trying to beat your best. But there's a different kind of way to push yourself when you're doing bodybuilding.
Yeah.
You're really, you're pushing through a lot of discomfort.
Yep.
Probably more than some other sports. So, and I think it's constantly striving to beat your best at that and pushing past your comfort zone that makes you feel like you achieved something, you're feeling progress, so that makes you feel good. And anything where you're really pushing yourself is going to release those endorphins, and that's something that helps you manage stress better. It improves your mood, and if you're setting a goal with your bodybuilding, like you want to achieve, whether it's certain strength goals or physique goals, anything where you're setting a goal and you're working towards it and you're making progress, it makes you feel good.
Yeah, but I agree that getting out, any physical activity is good for mental health. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, you can go to the doctor and the doctor might say to you, look, I would are you active? And they might say no. Or are you getting out? No. And they'll say, well, how about you go and join a local gym and go do some exert some energy. No one says go join a soccer team. No one says join a federation. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, of course, soccer, of course, tennis. But the gym just seems like everybody, like I've never sat around at half time eating oranges out on a soccer field and they've gone, man, I'm only playing soccer because I've got depression and I suffer from anxiety. But when you're at the gym, you could be spotting a guy or a girl, and before you know it, your conversation is like, why do you come? And they go, oh, because I suffer from mental health. Like, we open up at the gym. So that's what I wanted to ask. Why the gym? Why are we pointing that simplistic? It's simplistic in a sense, but why that area? Like I said, because I've played soccer depressed, and let me tell you, it's very lonely. I just couldn't wait till fucking full time. I just want to go home. I was like, I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. I hate playing today. I hate it. I hate it. I fucking want to go.
Yeah, look, it's very individual. A doctor might tell you to go to the gym. It's not going to be for everybody. Some people like to have that, some people like to have that team spirit and be part of something, and that's why team sport would work for them. But I think you answered your own question. You said it's very simplistic, and I think that's the thing. It's simple. You can go and you can start anywhere. You can start the lowest weight. You can start with anything, and you can build up from there. And like I said, it's that progress that makes you feel good. You're doing something for yourself. You're getting out of the house. It's all those factors.
Hey guys, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed, who is following us on all platforms, but especially here on YouTube. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, please, if you could do us a big favor, which helps us reach more people, get better, bigger, greater. We've already had some great guests anyway. Everyone's been a treat. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're notified every week a new podcast that is launched. And I just want to say a big thank you. But again, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and enjoy watching Muscle Talks podcasts.
Yep, all right. You know what's funny? I think I've just, it's just dawned on me. I'm talking to a psychologist, meaning usually you're without you're kind of science-based, and you're also, correct me at any point, but we also talk about, what's the word I was looking for? Wait a minute. Case studies. It's like case studies. So you're giving me case studies in a way, kind of opening it up. And I'm trying to be very specific, and you're, throwing me case studies because we're talking about many, not just one, where one might need the gym and one might need tennis. So I get it.
That's exactly right. Yeah. There's no one specific answer.
Don't worry. I've been around psychologists for 10 years. This is going to be the cheapest psychologist appointment for me ever. Like, I didn't even have to pull out my Medicare card, Chris. I don't have to do anything. I got it for 2 hours. You know how much 2 hours cost you with a psychologist, Chris? This could be $400. Two of us. So we're both getting treatment for free. This is unreal. God, I might change the podcast to Mental Health Steve or something. So a 2-hour walk that was possibly only supposed to go for a short time with a friend introduced you to exercise, but and later on we will speak that there was occasionally you did go to the gym even through your marriage, that you couldn't stop going for walks, that in 2019, so much so, winter came apparently, I'm assuming through my imagination, winter came and you thought, fuck, this is too cold. I need somewhere else to walk. And so you went to the gym to join and do treadmill. And then you looked around and you said, oh my God, look at all this stuff I can use with my membership and also what I can do. And they also, pushed a personal trainer onto you at the time because that's what they do. So explain that story.
Yeah, so I was separated after my marriage, and I, was trying to make time for myself, do things for myself. Got a babysitter so I can go to meet a friend for a walk. And, finished catching up with a friend, and she went home, and I just thought, I feel like I'm not done here. I feel like I just want to keep going. Yeah. So I just kept walking, and I just walked, and it just felt amazing. I had my music on and just felt so refreshed, felt alive. And I thought, this is amazing. This is a genius idea. I need to get a babysitter just so I can go for a walk. And it ended up being 2 hours or something before I got back home. And just as you said, when winter came, I could no longer do those walks. I thought I'll join a gym and just continue what I started. Yep. But I saw all the machines. I saw people, pumping iron, and men, women, and I thought, well, I'm not here for the treadmill anymore. I want to get strong. I was feeling a lot stronger mentally. I wanted to be just as strong physically, and look it as well, because I was quite weak and fragile. Yep. And so that's what I started doing.
Okay. And I don't know if I've got that question further on. Maybe I do. But what was the first piece of gym equipment you grabbed? What did you resonate to? Even though we do the whole body when we first go in, everyone just does the whole body.
Yes, that's a really good question. I think it was actually, you know what it was? Because I was shown some exercise by this personal trainer, but actually what I liked was deadlifts.
Ah, deadlifts. And you did, and you've got highlights of deadlifts, so we're going to talk about deadlifts. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know that I really knew what I was doing, but something about doing deadlifts felt really good. And And, and I'm laughing about it now, but, we all start somewhere. And when I started, I remember thinking, oh, look at me, I'm so strong. Like this is, I feel like such a, a warrior woman doing these deadlifts. Yeah. Those deadlifts, they were just 40 kilos. I now deadlift 140 kilos.
I know.
So,
I think I have a question on that. So yes.
Yeah, the progress has been amazing. So I love it.
Well, it seems like you haven't given up on deadlifts because your highlights are all deadlifts. And I think what's your PB? 140?
145 is the most I've done.
I think the 145, yes. I've got it written somewhere. I mean, I can find it, but I won't find it now. We'll get to that point. But, all right, so you still deadlift and you still love it. Why? Why is deadlift literally feeling like this lift could, like, I'll tell you what's about deadlift without making it sound so horrific. It's like you think you're going to become paralyzed because you've lifted incorrectly because it's so fucking heavy. Like literally you think your guts are going to come out of your ass and you're going to buckle over and then you're never going to walk again in your life because you went too far. But we do it. We keep going too far. We keep pushing it. Meaning, what is it about deadlifts? Because there is a point in deadlifts where you do say to yourself, this is too heavy.
Yeah, look, I mean, when I started, doing them just on my own, like I said, I don't know that I had the best form. I knew what I was doing. It just something about that movement just felt good.
Yep.
But later on, it's not like I necessarily plan to continue progressing so much with it. It's just that after COVID, when I looked for a coach for myself, who's a coach and my personal trainer as well, and I still see her to this day, she was, into doing deadlifts and that's like a definition and a marker of strength, and it works your whole body. It's a compound movement, and so I've never done deadlifts really without her ever since. So it's something we do in a training session. So I see her twice a week, and one of those is deadlift day.
Okay.
There's other exercises, but that's the main one. And she pushes me very hard. Like sometimes I think I finished, 10 reps ago, but somehow she managed to get more out of me just by screaming at me.
Yes.
Telling me to fight.
I know.
And so then I fight, and the feeling afterwards is just incredible. Even though I feel like I'm going to collapse, but it's something about watching. I must say it's the hardest exercise to get a good selfie. I mean, everyone's face looks like it's going to explode. I don't know anyone can do a good selfie, with deadlift. It definitely. I know.
We don't look none of us look so appealing, but we all look alike. That's for sure. When a deadlift, we all look alike.
It means you worked hard.
It doesn't discriminate, that squinting eyes and the squashing of the face.
Oh, totally.
So you're the eldest of three. So tell me, being the eldest of three, obviously every new rule comes through you. Landmines landmines that have never been tested, you guys test it. You clear the scrubs and the forest for younger siblings to come through. So how was it being the eldest?
Look, there's a lot of things I loved about being the eldest. I think I was always kind of very nurturing and, like looking after my siblings. And I think, whatever environment we were in with my family, I was always put into this role. You look after the little kids. Yep. So I sort of always liked that. I was always a helper. I think it's why it suited me to be a psychologist as well.
Yes.
But yeah, the part about paving the way for my siblings, that was not so fun. Because even though, I sort of always felt like I have to set an example, my parents were a lot more lenient. Particularly with my youngest sibling, my sister, than me. Some things.
I know they are. The one thing, I'm a middle child. I tell you what's good about having an older sister. They're older.
Yeah.
Like when you're the eldest, like I'm 55, she's 60. I think, fuck, thank God I'm not 60. You can have that.
Yeah.
So the eldest, so you probably sometimes think to yourself, I wish I was as young as my youngest. Like, you know what I mean? The eldest later in time loves being, I believe, the eldest, but then they want the youth. They prefer to be the youngest. but they are not the youngest.
Mm.
Sports wasn't your thing. You tried a few things, but it never stuck. You never stuck with it. Also, an average student, which I find surprising what average student is when you're obviously have done a university degree and you're a psychologist, especially clinical. But your dad told you to always do your best, and you can have a career when you're older. Be an independent woman. What does that tell you? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So, when I say I was an average student, I wasn't actually in primary school. I was very average. But as I said, my dad always told me, it doesn't matter. You have to keep working hard and you'll get better. So he used to use an expression with me. He said, you've got to sharpen your mind. Like a pencil, you've got to sharpen it. You've got to keep working, and you'll get sharper. You'll get smarter. I remember always thinking, okay, no matter what I'm doing, even if it's hard, I've got to keep pushing. And I did that. And the thing that was that maybe it's to do with, my parents' generation as well. My dad, it was important for him that, particularly as a woman, that I can be financially independent when I'm older, that I don't rely on a man, that I can look after myself and, have my own degree and career. And so, I took that on board, and also being the oldest, I wanted to please my parents as well. Yeah. But this was a path I chose anyway for myself. This was not, there's no one in my family that's a psychologist or even in the health profession.
It's funny because that wasn't in my family, meaning, we do know, like I said, your dad's an engineer, so he's an educated person himself and a businessman. Maybe that's the difference. Being, like I said, when I talk about my upbringing, I wouldn't change a thing. I don't look back. I don't need to change anything. I'm not envious of anybody, but I am intrigued because I guess my sister was, I think she was the smartest because she did end up going to university, but she dropped out. But they were in the belief that, my parents had a glory box for the girls, and that the glory box is the gift to the man, or that's what she comes with, and the man is going to bring the wealth and the career, and you're the bearer of children. So I guess it wasn't. No one really kind of spoke about sharpening your mind or sharpening your tools. And it's funny because myself, when I listen to that, even with my kids, my 21-year-old and 18-year-old, and I have a different style or a different technique, but to give them some advice which involves, like what your dad said, sharpen your sword. I find today, in today's day and age, maybe again, being a psychologist, we could share this. I find that too many couples self-sabotage the other one. Too many couples undermine the other one. My biggest problem was undermined. I could say the most positive thing, it was just undermined, because people have this certain fucking belief that life is unicorns and rainbows, and it's, be a free spirit. Whatever comes to you will come to you, and go and get it and just go get it. But which is wonderful. We want that. We want the yin and the yang. We want the 50%, give me a gift, and the other 50%, I want to go get the gift. But are you finding that today, do you think we're able to empower our children, or do you think, unfortunately, that right's been taken away now? Our kids don't really need our advice anymore because you can make it anywhere. You can make it on social media. Just be an influencer. What I'm trying to say to you is, it just seems so simple, where your dad was, he just wanted you to, why did he want you to be an independent woman? Why, when most people don't think of that, to make I would like my daughter to be independent, but even if I try to act that way with her, if her mum's not independent, in a sense, or a person's not independent, they don't understand that. It's kind of like undermines and self-sabotages. But it seems like your mum had a lot of also respect for your dad, being the couple dynamics. So when he spoke to you, even if she didn't speak, you knew she was his VP, vice president, in a sense. Does that make sense?
Look, there's so many things I could say about that, because again, I don't think it's one answer. I mean, it's, for your kids to pick up on what you're suggesting, it depends on their relationship with you and what they find, as important as well. So for that to kind of, match. Yeah. And I guess, I like the idea of being, a good student and achieving and getting good results. It feels good.
Yeah.
It's a positive thing. So I, wanted to keep that going. And once I got a taste for it, I wanted to keep pushing to get that. So I absolutely still think, you can advise, anyone can still, advise their kids, whether they take it on board or not is up to them. But, painting a picture of what life could look like if they do things differently, I don't think it's easy. You have to work hard for anything.
It's not easy these days. It's not so black and white, is it, anymore?
It's not easy.
It's not easy. So as soon as you could read and write, you wanted to be an author and actually a poet. And you wrote a few poems for years. Are we still a writer or are we still a poet?
Bit of both.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's more, like I used to write poems in rhyme, and it's just something that I enjoyed doing. It was a way for me to express myself. And over the years, if I went through some challenge, I often like to put that into writing, particularly poetry. And, I might still write poems for people, like let's say a birthday or someone close, I'll write the card as a poem. Yeah. Oh. I get a lot of enjoyment out of that, and just gets me to use, another part of my brain, just be kind of creative. And yes, I still do it, but not, not like as a, profession. It's just here and there.
Is using AI the same thing? I use AI. I was sending poems. I was sending poems to a girl that when I say I'm kind of seeing, we had a break, but only because I think she needed a break. But I'm really a person that doesn't. I like everything. I like turmoil. I like happy. I like fluffy. I like thunder. I like arguments. I like debates. I like laughter. I like sarcasm. And I don't like to change anything because we're here today. That's kind of how I view things. So I never look in the rearview mirror. But I discovered AI was a really good tool to write poems. But the great thing about AI is you can tell AI what type of poem you want to send. And you can actually add to the poem. So I've enjoyed poems myself, and at the beginning she was thinking, God, I never knew you knew how to write poems, Steve. And I said, well, I never said I didn't. I just said, well, who knew? You know what I mean? Like, who knew? But then she picked up because she sent me one back from AI. I said, all right, you got me. So, but if anyone's listening out there, poems are... I actually, funny enough, Effie, my friend, she suffers from mental health, right? I helped her get off antidepressants as well. I'm just letting you know, I helped her. We did it for 3 months. I said, no, we're going slow. We're going very slow off this. And I'm not going to say that I don't have experience. I do. We spoke over the phone what kind of experience I have. But I lost my train of thought because I think, what did I tell Effie? To what point have I disclosed on my podcast, which I did with Giourgis. But having said that, when I know she had a day that felt powerless, when she felt like she had powerless, I would send her a poem, not necessarily about having power, but like I'll say to AI, navigating defeat. How do we navigate defeat? And you write me a poem, and then I'll send it to her. And she,
Awesome.
yeah. So I find if anyone's listening, you can always tell if you're not sure how to communicate to someone. I find sending them poems about it. And at one stage, I said to AI, no fucking sunshines, stars in the sky, fucking oceans and fucking butterflies. I don't want it. I want a poem that doesn't involve these things because AI gets a bit lazy. It just, enough with the rainbows. We've got the rainbows part. Can we just cut the rainbows, or can we cut the stars in the sky shine through your eyes? We don't want that anymore. So, yeah, there's been a few poems. So letting you know, AI does some really good poems if you're specific, and you can actually add a person's name to it. So it'll actually go, and so and so and so and so and so, so your valued person, and blah blah blah. So there you go.
There you go. You found a tool for yourself.
I did. I'm a poet, but when I was young, I used to write songs. I don't
Awesome.
know. Yeah. I think I was also one of the best shadow guitarists on the planet. I could play a good shadow guitar. Never could do the drums though. I was never good with the drums. I was always out of key. I was always missing the beat. Okay, mocking, being bullied for being a studious, hard-working, rule-abiding girl, often called goody-goody. Does that pain and unfairness ever leave us? And do we always wish we could go back and defend our poor selves and fucking bash them?
Look, as much as this might sound a cliche, I'm grateful for that experience.
Yes,
because first of all, I got through it.
Yes,
I don't think about it anymore. It's completely behind me. And I don't regret who I was. That's who I was.
Yes, of course. Yes.
I was. It wouldn't have been my thing to be rebellious and rule breaker kind of person. It just wasn't me.
Yeah.
So the fact that I wasn't accepted for that is obviously unfortunate and made some of my schooling very, very difficult and very sad. But eventually, I got through it. And as I got to later high school years, everyone was kind of trying, in the school I was at anyway, trying to achieve being actually a bit of a goody-goody because they wanted to, get through school, get through high school, VCE or HSE, wherever you are, and, come at the other side and go to university or whatever they plan to do. So, yeah, it's left me now, but it's part of me.
Does it ever... Like I said, as you talk, I'm just thinking, because I was like, I didn't know I was bullied till I found out I was bullied. In a sense, when I look back, I mean, I think you could say you're bullied when you're chased by two guys every afternoon to the school gate to go see your mum, like chased, right? That would be bullying, I think. Yeah. Intimidated when you're walking past someone, they stand and put their face in front of your face and call you names. I think that's bullying in a way, right? But something you said, you know who you are. Do you think that's the problem why it never leaves us? Because you are happy with the person you were, and that gives you control of the situation, where for me, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking to myself lately, sometimes I think, like sometimes I actually feel like I'm a loser and I don't know why. Does that make sense when I'm not? I know I'm not, but there's a fight about that kid that got bullied, or that fat kid, and why did they feed me so much, that I want to go back and save that kid. That's what I mean. Like I that's why I said go back and bash him, or go back. Like I tend to feel sorry for that kid. I wish I was myself then, not who I was innocently. So the question is, people listening, we're talking about a few things. You said you're happy with the person you were. right?
I was happy with
But
the person
mate,
I was.
that's and is that the answer we need for ourselves? Is that who we got to find and how we got to find it? That's what I'm, trying to work out here.
Yeah. I mean, I think, sometimes, if we're putting ourselves down or calling ourselves a loser, is that because you don't like yourself or because you're comparing yourself to other people as well? Is it more in a comparison? I think what I lacked at the time that made it difficult was I didn't have any skills in being assertive and standing up for myself. That's what I was lacking.
Yeah.
If I was able to do that, maybe things would have turned out a bit differently. And maybe it wasn't even about being assertive, but being better able to ignore and not take it to heart. So, some of it is knowing who you are, but the other part is knowing how to stand up for yourself or to deal with with people like that, to walk away, not to take it to heart because that's just their opinion and their opinion doesn't matter. So it's that too.
Yeah, I mean, I know I said I do think I'm a loser when you say that, when I hear it, it's more, and when you say comparison, I actually, again, because it's a conversation and it involves bodybuilding as well, I've never trained for anyone. I've never ever gone to the gym for fucking anyone. And if I do say I am a loser, it's because for me that is, I try so fucking hard. And I can see and read and feel unscrupulous behavior. I can see and feel lies. And it frustrates the fuck out of me because it's with the wrong person now. And when I use the word loser, it's more like when I feel like a loser is by trying to even be good and things fail, relationships fail, and you think like, who do I fucking need to be? I don't even want to be who you want me to be. And it hurts you because you want to be accepted for who you are. Like I said, when I go to the gym, people believe I do it for vanity. There's no denying it. It's my good looks. My face won't do it. My body will. If I can train to have a good body, I feel good looking. It doesn't. I can't rely on my face because it is what it is. You know what I mean? But it's just like I said to you. It's just a constant. Just like I said to you, I think there's an element, like I said again with the gym as well, that some people just get it. And I don't care about this as well, by the way, but some people seem to get it so easy or are fucking pricks. And you think like, fuck, how does this world work? Like, how does this fucking world work? You know what I mean? And for me, when I see a young kid being bullied, I'm just ready to start my Harley and ride through that fucking school and grab that kid and say, get on the back of my bike. We're fucking off this place. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. That's just something inside. I can't get rid of it. And I've actually, that's why I have a split personality. No, I don't have a split. I have an alter ego. And I've decided to give him one. I decided to give myself one. And my psychologist actually liked that I did. I did it many years ago. And his name's Harry. Now, why did I choose Harry? I felt like Harry was a woggy name because I'm a wog. And I think I'm born in Australia, so I'm Australian. But I wanted something a little woggy. I feel like Harry can be astute, but Harry can be Harry. And I feel like it's also... who is fucking Harry? Harry's a funny name. And so Harry's the guy that loves to go eat a smorgasbord. He'll eat it. He loves a smorgasbord. He's an amazing lover and he's fucking vicious. He's the best debt collector in the world. And then once he's on, he doesn't know who Steve is. And Steve's the only one that rocks up in the car and says, get in the car, Harry. You're fucking carrying on too much. Let's go. What do you think about these alter egos? Should we have one?
Oh, no, I sure do.
Yeah. What about you? You got one?
I'll call it. It's more like an alter she-go.
An alter she-go. Go. What is she? Tell us about your alter she-go.
No, I don't. She doesn't have a name, but it's on when I get into the gym. It's just different.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Person, headphones on. I often have a cap like yourself.
Yes, I've seen that.
And it's just I just get in my zone, and I almost don't see anything around me. I'm just on a mission, and yeah, it's a different effie when I'm there.
My cousin, he's a rugby league player, right? He was a rugby league player, and he's a doctor. He's a doctor, right? His name is Dr. Giourgis. I mean, and when I say my cousin, he is my cousin because it's my mum and his mum, or my mum and his dad are first cousins. So obviously their parents were brother and sister. So we're like second cousins, they just say it like that. And I said, and he's been part of the NRL board. He's been a chairman, but he's very captained Australia, their first non-born Australian to captain Australia, he would have done, but it was back in the 70s, very early 80s kind of thing. And I said to George, how did you play rugby league and see people injured and they're on the ground, and didn't you firstly think? And he goes, when I first saw him go down, I thought to myself, but as soon as I saw the team doctor go, he goes, then I'm not a doctor anymore because they're being cared to. So I'm back to being playing rugby league. So he'd just go, I'd only bring the character in if the character was necessary. Other than that, he's being addressed by a doctor that's playing the doctor role. I play a rugby league role. So he'd play rugby league. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a good story. I mean, that's why I thought, like we'd share that story together. Let's move on. What do we got here? Yes. As time went on in school, later years in high school, you wanted to help others cope with their struggles. So you followed your dream to become a clinical psychologist. And 20 years later, now, and loving it. How about telling everybody what the hell's the difference between a clinical psychologist and a psychologist, Chris? There's a clinical... So you know what it is like? I'll tell you what it's like, Chris. It's like bodybuilder and pro bodybuilder. That's what it is.
No, look, I have to say, like, if you're looking for help with mental health, any psychologist who's a qualified psychologist, clinical or not, is
only a clinical psychologist will say that. But go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm just joking.
No.
Come on, Effie. I'm trying to make you laugh. Jesus Christ, that's a tough crowd here, Chris.
Any psychologist is likely to help you, and it depends also on the relationship you have with them. You're going to be able to connect with them and so on. So whether that's a clinical or general psychologist, that's you can't determine that in advance. But the difference is really in the training. So clinical psychologists, they're like a specialist psychologist, a bit like how you might have a GP and a specialist doctor for a particular area. And the clinical part just means that the training was more in learning to assess and diagnose mental health conditions. Yeah. And some of the placements were more in psychiatric wards and things like that. So it meant the training was longer. There was more studies and more placements to do. So it's just a longer degree.
Hey, I'm Jamie from Pawtion.
And I'm Steve, Muscle Talks podcast.
And we heard that you guys are very into clean eating for yourselves, so we figured we'd educate you a bit about clean eating for your dogs. That's why Pawtion has decided to partner with Muscle Talks and give you promo code MuscleTalks25 for 25% off your first order at pawtion.com.au. That's pawtion.com.au.
And if you continue ordering through Pawtion, please use Muscle Talks 10, and that gets you with continued orders 10% off. We're quite excited to be part of Pawtion. I've got a few dogs running around us just as I talk now. So please support not only good eating for ourselves, but I'm sure you want to promote good eating for your loved one, your pet, your dog. So go to pawtion.com.au and use for your first order Muscle Talks 25 to get 25% off your first order, and then continued orders Muscle Talks 10.
Okay. But yeah, why did you want to help? Why did you feel in your later school years that you wanted to help others cope with their struggles? How did that come about?
Yeah, look, I think as I said to you, and I only made this connection much later in life, but I think being the oldest of three and just naturally being someone who was always a bit of a helper, I always loved helping. I found it really rewarding in whatever way, not necessarily mental health, just as a kid even. It was just something that felt right to me, felt really rewarding, and gave me a lot of satisfaction. And that's why I wanted to pursue a profession that will allow me to do that. I find it really rewarding.
Just quickly, are you a personal trainer? Are you qualified to be a personal trainer?
No.
Do you ever think
No.
about that?
Thought about it for about 2 seconds at one point, but no, I'd rather leave that to people who are more into that.
Yeah, okay.
I'd rather be personal trained than be the personal trainer.
Okay, well, you do offer a service, I guess, for the mental health of it all. But 2018, and if anything's uncomfortable, we can segue differently. And may I apologize in advance if I don't get it and I'm sarcastic for no fucking reason, because I'm not the brightest spark always. And I do try to find light even in darkness. So I'm just letting you know that it's kind of my thing. But 2018, you decided to leave an abusive relationship. But strangely enough, you yourself earlier on either didn't see the signs or were in denial. Again, you can correct me at any time. You met your ex at 22. You're now 55. I apologize for sharing your age, by the way. And you wrote, he's got the bad boy image, and you thought it was cool that a bad boy would be into you. Married, 3 kids later, 16 years of emotional abuse, lies, cheating, manipulation. Not that I want to know, but this guy got away with it in some ways for 16 years because I'm divorced, and I don't know. I'm not going to say I don't know what I did. I deserve to be divorced, whatever I did. I deserve it. But some people seem to get away with a lot of abuse before someone actually fucking leaves them, where, you can have an argument with someone and the relationship's over and you wonder, for Jesus Christ, all we had was an argument, you know what I mean? Or a disagreement, or I felt like you weren't listening to me, or whatever it was. Why, not even cheating, because like I said, you've got abuse, lies, cheating, manipulation. I want to ask, why stay through that for 16 years? And I'm just reading here, sorry. And I apologize, but you've been trained in understanding patterns, personalities, and you've been given tools.
I wish I could tell you that being a psychologist makes you immune to turmoil, to struggles, and but I can't be my own psychologist, and I'm human like everybody else. And in those moments, there was like none of what I know about people or strategies really could help me, because I was so deep in it and so desperately wanted things to work, and absolutely in denial. I was married. I wanted my marriage to work. I kept thinking, no, surely things will get better, or maybe it's not as bad as I think it is. And you kind of get used to it. It's horrible to say, but you get used to it, and it becomes your normal. And not only that, but I compensated for a lot of things. So I would kind of like rationalize it in my head. Oh no, this happened because of that, and it's horrible to say, but it's when it starts gradually, not making any sense for a long period of time, and you feel like you're going a bit crazy, and then the stress really takes a toll. Was taking a toll on me, mentally, physically. That's when I realized something is now very wrong, and I don't know how, but I have to figure out a way to get out. Having said that as well, when I said I was with him for 16 years, the first, I don't know how many years, I can't really put a number on it, but the first number of years, were not bad. They're not horrible. It's at some point, and I don't know exactly at which point, at some point cracks just started to show. And at first, like I said, I compensated, I normalized everything, and then gradually it just got worse and worse.
Well, I was only stating what you wrote to me.
No, of course.
So
no,
I'm just letting you know, it wasn't me assuming. I actually wrote word from word what you wrote.
Yes,
here.
no, of course, yeah.
But, and again, forgive me for asking these questions and acting interview-like now, reporter-like. But it is a little bit of a sore point for me. Not you. So let me just go with this. I get a little bit pissed off when I hear people talking about mental health, drugs, when some of them were just alcoholics. And because they were alcoholics, they became mentally fucked. But yet they want to write books, yet they want to fucking be influencers, yet they want to be whatever they are. Myself, when I talk about my 10 years, I fucking ended up in hospital twice. I admitted myself into a public psych, and then I fucking got out, and I purposely joined Bupa and paid for 8 weeks so I can go into a private one on my own. I even went and got job interviews. I went to job interviews. I got jobs, but I couldn't take the job because I couldn't turn up. I could just get in, get out, get in, get out, get in, get out.
Yeah.
So what I'm asking is, how did you feel knowing what you're going through and sitting in front of people helping other people with their problems when in some ways you were going through these problems? Like, how did you feel that? Does that make sense what I'm trying to say to you? Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't want to be rude, but I'm trying to say, because the reason you're a psychologist is not because you've suffered mental health. I'm just letting you know that, or suffered in a relationship. You are a psychologist because you studied it. It's a passion of yours. It's a career. So you have every right to be doing what you're doing. What I'm asking is, don't you feel sometimes people are out there telling people to get off antidepressants, yet they're on antidepressants, even though they're on 5 milligrams, that they just got off antidepressants? It's like they've done this fucking time, and then a week later they're clean and they got like, I'm the Messiah. Where I'm going with all this is, how did you feel even doing your profession while you're going through this? How did you feel about that? Because, I'm just saying, because I can assume Monday to Friday was okay. Saturday and Sundays when you want to have family time, and it was probably shit, because I remember those days. So does that make sense where I'm going with? How did you handle having clients that were going through the same thing with you, and you are stuck in this thing and you're trying to advise them? How did you deal with that?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when I'm sitting with clients, I'm totally and fully with them.
Okay. Yeah.
My
I
own
agree.
life does not come into it. I'm totally in the zone. Like, once I enter like my office, it's like my personal life is out the door.
Okay, got it.
It doesn't come into a session. Absolutely not. I don't disclose anything about myself anyway.
Yeah, of course you don't.
But I'm just fully with them. So I listen to what they're going through, and I'm working with them on their stuff.
No, makes sense. It's a very quick answer too. I was expecting one a little bit longer, but we'll go with that. Can I ask a question? How long's long enough? So meaning, what should relationships endure and what shouldn't they? So what I'm asking is, today, are we allowed to have an argument, or we're not allowed to have an argument? Are we allowed to have a debate? This has got nothing to do with me. I'm saying to you.
Yeah, in general.
For me, if I have to put it out there, what do I think a relationship should be? It should be a serving mentality. You just give. No reciprocation, no waiting for something, you give. If it's empty, you know it's empty, so you leave. But if you give in everything you can without expecting anything in return. And if it comes to you, well, it comes to you in a form of a gift, because you didn't you're wonderfully surprised. Your offerings are their offerings, and we both receive. So that's how I look at relationships. I love an argument. I do. I'm a wog. I love a good argument, man. I love it. I feel putting down people I don't tolerate at all. Calling someone a name, I don't tolerate. You might turn around and say, this is fucking ridiculous, and I don't fucking agree with you. I could say, sometimes you've got to, again, whatever you condone it, but calling someone a name, putting them down and making it personal, I won't tolerate that. What I'm trying to say is, what should we endure? What do you think? Or what shouldn't we endure?
Yeah, I think you highlight a really important thing. You can have an argument, but if the argument is getting really nasty in terms of putting someone down and calling names, that's disrespectful, and that's not what a relationship should be, right? Exactly. So, an argument can just, be a misunderstanding, and you're listening to each other and maybe figuring out a solution, or not, or you agree to disagree, but you do it respectfully, and you communicate and you listen to each other. But yeah, absolutely. If you're being put down, and there's any kind of control, manipulation, your values are not aligned, so you're not compatible, in that way, that's over time, that can really eat at you. And if there's no communication about it, resolving things together, working as a team, then if you can pick up on that early on, then that's good. But I think a lot of us like to make things work, and so we think, okay, we'll try again. I mean, going to a relationship or couple therapy can help with that, so knowing to recognize, okay, maybe we need some extra help, we can't figure this out on our own, so that can be a good avenue to go down or explore.
I guess because I'm still going to go down this line. We are going to get to chicken and rice, by the way. We're going to eventually get to chicken and rice. But the reason I'm going to stick with this a little bit longer is, well, I'm sure our audience who are bodybuilders are humans. And I'm sure that these humans are male and females going through struggles. And especially, which will be one of my questions, especially when it comes to body dysphoria. And also the fact that we are building sexy bodies that can create intimidation and also lust and also jealousy. There's a lot of things going on out there, and you get noticed. So there's a lot of conversation I'm going to come to, but we just want to get through this a little bit. But I have to say one thing, Effie, myself, and this really helped me, but I think it helped my kids as well. But for me, I believe my marriage failure is a failure in my life. I'm not impressed by it, and I never want to be. I never want to be impressed by it. I'm actually very disappointed. I don't want her back, but I'm disappointed because that wasn't my plan. So it's definitely a bruise or a fracture that happened that I needed to get plaster for, but I remember the fall. It wasn't a fun day. It's not a fun time. So I think people, once they realize you don't have to just move on, you can accept the shit, that it was shit, and leave it at shit, and don't try to work out it's better. That's me. I'm not a psychologist, nor clinical, nor studied, but I have seen a psychologist long enough to talk like this. And the other thing is, I said to my kids when I said, the day me and mum broke up, that was a shit day. And you know what? Let's keep it as that was a shit day, but let's make every other day good. Like it's a shit day. So when you think about it, that was a shit day. That was a shit time. But can we make the rest of the life be good? So that's how I work it. I think we always trying to just say, get over it, fuck getting over it. Just put it the fuck at one side, leave it there, revisit it and say, you know what? God, that was a shit day. And now move on. Oh God, that was a shit day. A car accident. It was a shit car accident. It wasn't good. It was, you know what I mean? Like you can't change the car accident. Oh, even though the car was on its roof and I was bleeding in the head, at least the positive was the airbags opened. Like, fuck that. It was a shit car accident. It was very noisy, loud. It was scary. I'm just trying to say, I mean, that's my philosophy when it comes to relationships, in a sense, that we are trying to, besides find good in it, there is a pinnacle point that it was bad. And the bad was it ended. It finished. You had to work on, and it affected the kids. It affected people around you. Even my mum. Oh, sorry, Steve. Oh, you poor thing. I said, fuck poor thing. It was one day. Let's go. Let it go. Let's move on. And what do you think about that? Just carrying on a bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like my experience, a bit different to yours. I mean, I don't know your exact experience, but just from what you described,
Yes, of course.
Like as weird as it sounds, like I am grateful that it happened. Like it taught me so much about myself, what matters to me in a partner, what I'm not going to tolerate anymore.
Yes, of course.
I wouldn't have known those things. I went in at age 22, like almost like a blank canvas, and I liked what I liked on surface level, I guess, and I went with that. But now I'm very clear on what I'm going to tolerate and what I won't tolerate, and I would be much better at picking up signs if I was ever going to encounter that again. So it's made me who I am. It's also made me realize my love for things like bodybuilding, other things that I just be more myself, my kind of more authentic self that I feel was kind of literally went to sleep for 16 years.
Yeah.
Like I just dedicated my time, my attention to other things. So I'm really grateful that it happened.
Oh, well, there is a grateful side. There's no denying it going forward. There's no denying. I mean, yeah, there is a grateful side. Unfortunate, but grateful, definitely. But you'd lost 10 kilos and your family noticed. But this is the thing. Your dad pulled you up. And so we're kind of going to segue out soon, but we're talking about family, like, because we can all believe we're fucking Superman, but sometimes we know that some people come along, they know we're Superman, they just know they got to dust up your suit a bit because your suit's a bit dusty, right? So your dad pulled you up, and he had documented moments. So I mean, to be honest, it just goes to show me your dad's intelligence. Like that's probably something I'd do as well. I would do that too. I would document stuff. And then he brought it to your attention, and it wasn't like, and you correct me if I'm wrong, it wasn't like he said to you, how can we help you, in a sense, or what you need to do. He was basically pointing towards divorcing. Like he was ready to help you exit, which is a big move. So, and how important you felt that your family had your back.
Yeah, that was that's a moment like I'll never forget. Like I can see it in front of my eyes, thinking about it, where I was when that conversation happened and all of those things. But it totally saved me, because I knew I had to leave, but I didn't know how, and I didn't know how I was going to cope. And just hearing that they'll have my back no matter what's going on, before they even knew what's going on, just what they suspected, was extremely comforting.
Do you think we hang on because of others, because of our family and our perception of what people believe who we are, and instead of going, and this could be someone listening as well, before making any move that seems drastic but scary because you think you're going to upset, depends on your relationship with your family, like your parents and your siblings, that I think the first port of call should be a sit down with them over a coffee in the kitchen and tell them how you feel, because they probably already know what's going on, and together you can navigate out or navigate through something. I think it's so important, don't you think?
Absolutely. I kept it completely to myself, but I kept it to myself not so much because I thought I was going to disappoint anyone, but truthfully, because I was embarrassed.
But
I was embarrassed that this is what happened.
Disappointment and embarrassed can be the same thing in a sense.
Yeah. But it's not so much that I disappointed them that my marriage isn't working, but I was ashamed of what happened, and so I kept a facade. And that's I think in hindsight, the one thing I learned is how important it is to actually not keep things to yourself if you're really struggling, for myself. Because I thought I can handle this, I can do this, but I needed that support too.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's shit. Unfortunately, my parents have passed away, and there's not that anymore. It's shit. There's no one. No, I know it is sad. Yeah, I know it is sad. Let's do a bit of a session. I'm going to sit back and relax now. I'm going to talk about how I feel about this. No, but it's shit. No one understands. If you've got family that's still cooking cultural food, go fucking, as soon as you hear me talk now, go tonight and eat that cultural food at your parents' place. Get in the fucking car and go have dinner with them, and have a conversation with them, because there's no such sacred ground. That's the most sacred ground you'll ever find in your life. The only ones that can ever handle the fact that you are an offspring of them. So like I said, parents, if you've got them and they're still around and you're struggling, I would totally, besides seeing a psychologist, and not just a clinical one, but any psychologist, I would recommend that you sit there and talk to your parents. As long as, like I said, they're a little bit, because sometimes parents can be a bit too old-fashioned. But sometimes it's good to see some old-fashioned values. Don't judge them over that, but they'll keep you safe. Whatever they do, they keep you safe. So, yeah, it makes me... You can remember talking to your dad, but I kind of think to myself, I wouldn't mind having a chit chat with them now, but there's no such thing. So it's use it to your advantage if you've still got your parents. They're very helpful. Like I said, it helped you a lot, and I'm sure it can help a lot of people out there. So moving on from helping Steve now get through this problem he's got, your ex not only left, but completely worked out and hasn't seen the kids since. It's not so much about, firstly, I can't understand that at all, and probably nobody can, nor you, nor I don't think a clinical psychologist can ever work that out. But how did you cope being on your own? Career, single, bringing up the kids, mum?
So one of the things that was going on in my marriage is I felt like a single mum for a long time. So he was not really present. Often would go to work before the kids got up and came back after they were asleep. So I kind of did it a lot on my own. And I got used to it. So that part of things didn't really change. I was used to kind of navigating all of that. It was more making sure that my kids are okay, because at the end of the day, there was still, their father not present, whether, for a short amount of time or not. So I made sure that they're okay, that they're well adjusted, and, watch them like a hawk to make sure that they're okay. And they've done remarkably well. They've adjusted well, and, they've got a lot of love for me and my family. So I feel very, very lucky that that's happened.
Okay, that's good. All right, we'll close it up with this for that part anyway. Who knows? I don't know what else I've read. I never proofread, by the way.
Good.
During the tumultuous, turbulent marriage, you did try a spin class, a fitness class, a few diet fads. Why didn't the light bulb go off then? Because obviously it seemed like it was an interest of yours, the gym.
It was before kids, that's why.
It was before kids. Got it.
Before
that's
kids,
what it was.
and then the kids came along, and I thought, how am I going to keep this up? And I just couldn't make it work.
Yeah. It is. It is a challenge. Do you think it's always easier? I mean, everything's easier if we find someone that bloody just agrees to everything we do and say. But do you think having a partner that is interested in physical health, physical movement is a bonus? Because I tend to think it is. Because to try to explain to someone not only why the gym is so good for you, or important to you. I remember I used to go to the gym before the kids got up and come home while everyone got up. Because, sleeping people are sleeping people. I don't know if you're a sleeping person, but I'm not. I can't sleep in. I like the idea. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
And I still got ridiculed I was still told maybe it's a good idea not to go to the gym. And I thought, I'm going at 4 o'clock in the morning. How can it not be good? But it's funny, those people that don't go can find many reasons for you to say to you, you're not spending time at home or with the kids. But I was going like 4 o'clock in the morning and coming home at 6 and they're still asleep. But it was never enough. So do you think we need to maybe, I know you're going to say no to this, but do you think we need to go out with gym junkies ourselves, everybody? If you're a gym person, you've got to go with a gym person.
Yeah, look, I mean, it does make it easier because you've got that particular value completely aligned, right? Like you're both into your health, into your fitness, and I think there's a few things there, like what you said, because one is that sometimes when you're working on yourself and you're with someone that's not really working on themselves, and they see you working on yourself, it kind of puts a mirror up to their face.
It does,
and it can bring up a lot of their own insecurities, right? So they kind of feel like they need to defend themselves or justify, and putting the partner down because of that might make them feel more kind of superior, like they're right. But they don't have to be into it, but they can at least be respectful that that's important to you. And I think that's a thing.
Yeah, again, another light bulb moment went off just now where I thought to myself, isn't it true? Like I'm kind of okay to go out with someone that isn't into hip thrust and gym, and I don't mind, like, meaning I don't mind them enjoying great food, great company, going for walks, maybe a hike, but they don't have to completely meditation. Maybe they don't have to like the gym, but you're right. I think it just surprised me, and you mentioning what you just said, I think it's the fact that we're not doing anything bad. It's we're naively doing something that makes them feel like shit, and they come after you. And I think we've all got to be careful of that, because we don't have to find a gym person. We just got to find a person that's happy with themselves, in a sense.
Yeah, and I think just also like communicating why you're doing what you're doing. You know, like you might just say, "I want to go. That's just what I want to do." But you know, if you tell someone, you know, this is actually really helping me mentally. This is like making me feel really good. I feel like I'm a better partner, father, whatever, by doing this, because you know, gives me energy, helps me manage stress. Yeah. Then they get a better insight.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just feel. I just think if someone is happy with themselves, it's not necessarily you're shining a light or raising a mirror in front of them. Yeah,
absolutely. If they're happy with themselves, they're less likely to put you down about your own choices that make you happy.
Fucking hell, man! I think this session was worth it for once. My psychological session. I think, Chris, I've been saved. I've been helped. It's taken 70, no more, because this is pre-recorded. It's taken up to about 80 fucking podcasts, but we're here. I mean, and I've paid hundreds of dollars to psychologists for 10 years. Being a psychologist certainly hasn't made you, that's what we said, hasn't made you immune to it, but I've worked through a lot in order of the journey. So we've kind of covered that, so we don't need to go. So tell me, I guess a little bit further on that. So psychologists, they struggle mentally, yeah?
Absolutely.
Tell me, how do you guys unload? How do you guys mitigate your feelings to take on others' issues, things you hear, see, and maybe you feel for others? How do you do all this? How do you mitigate it? How do you unload? How do you police it?
There's like 5 questions in one in there, so I'll try and answer one by one.
Yes. Yes.
So first of all, yes, psychologists are humans too. We have thoughts, we have feelings, and we're not going to know all the answers to help ourselves. You know, just like sometimes see doctors are the worst patients. You know, so yeah, absolutely. I can't necessarily see things that maybe an outside person would see. They might give me a different perspective. So self-care is super important as a psychologist, also not to burn out. So yes, going to the gym is definitely one of those things. And also like meditation, doing mindfulness, just taking that time to sort of be sort of quiet. But the other thing is, all psychologists actually, for us to even like be registered as psychologists year to year, we need to have a certain number of hours of what's called peer supervision, which means that we need to speak to someone more senior than us about certain cases, anything that, maybe we're stuck on with, a particular patient that we want guidance with, or, just another perspective. And that, that helps to, also make sure you're not kind of taking anything on board. But I think one of the skills that I've just gotten better at over the years as a psychologist is, like I said to you before, like when I go into a session, I'm totally in the zone. I don't really absorb someone's emotions. I'm just there to help them and to hear what's going on. Like I'm trying to like make connections on how to feed that back to them, how to help them, and find some direction to move forward.
Have you answered all my 5 questions? I'm just wondering.
I think so. Have I missed something?
No. You've covered them all. I just want to make sure I can't remember even what my 5 questions were.
Fair enough.
I didn't even know I had 5 questions. So, you know, you're the one that's sussing me out. God's sake, you're probably going to send me a bill. You say, Stephen, this was not a podcast. This was a fucking session, and we get a bill, Chris. Be careful. Be careful, you know. 1 second. Oh, yeah. How rife is it? Oh, yeah. How rife now is it in the bodybuilding industry with body dysmorphia, eating disorders, portrayal, relationships, trust, jealousy, social media, body and success, ideologies, drugs, and not feeling enough or worthless? That's a lot there.
Okay, you've just taken it up a notch from 5 questions to 20 in one. So
Yeah.
So yes, look, those things are, you know, yes. The answer is yes.
They're rife
Those
in
things,
it. Yeah.
they're, you know, are quite common. But you know, I can only talk about the subset of the huge population of bodybuilders that I've seen. So, you know, I can't really generalize, but I've certainly seen and heard this is something that happens often, which is, you know, unfortunate. And it depends a lot also on, see, I think this is where the issue is, you know, like, you know how like a lot of people, I mean, you said yourself, a doctor might tell you, oh, go to the gym, you know, to improve your mental health. Okay. The issue that started happening as a result of that is people call gym their therapy.
Yeah, I was going to tell you that. You're next. Keep going. Yep, I'm listening.
Well, so
there it is.
yeah,
People calling gym their therapy, the underlying mental health for their underlying mental health issues. Yeah.
For the underlying mental health issues. Yeah. Okay. So if you're having issues with drugs, if you're having issues with eating disorders, even body dysmorphia, that's not because of bodybuilding. No. That's because you've got underlying mental health issues. Right. It's not. Yes, it's rife in it, but it's probably for those people that use bodybuilding as a crutch and use it as their therapy when it's not therapy. It's not therapy. It can make you feel good, so it's kind of disguised as that. And of course, it's important to do things that make you feel good. That is part of taking care of yourself mentally, but it's absolutely not going to solve your problems.
Yeah.
So that's the one quick way to answer the 20 questions.
Let me count them. 1, 2, 3. I think it's 20, mate. All right, stop it. They're making it 20 questions. Yeah, I think, but also the gym can cause problems, right? The gym does that. How does it cause problems? It can cause trust issues with relationships and partners. Sometimes we're just average people in this gym, and we're tested by how someone dresses, how they act at the gym, how they train. I guess my question, well, first and foremost, I love the gym. Like I said, 35 years later. But I have to say, I'm finding the gym more negative than it's ever been. And that's what I found. This is Steve saying this. Where in the past, the gym was a job. We actually went to do something that was hard. It wasn't a fun place. It was fun, but it wasn't fun. Like, we went in there and we hurt ourselves. We pushed weights, pushed hard, and there was always dodgy characters in there. No one had a very high IQ. Trust me, they were more doormen. Yeah. There wasn't many doctors, accountants in there. There wasn't, like, you know, it's changed. Fashion wasn't a thing. There was no such thing as fashion. And you stunk. We stunk and groaned, and, you know, there was hardly any signs saying put your weights away. They're all over the fucking floor. It was a crazy place. But it worked. And no one said their problems at the gym. No one complained. No one goes, oh, fucking... It was just not even a lot of talk about food. It was basically chicken and rice. just chicken and rice, chicken and rice. Now we've got, I can solve your problems, and you're a fat bitch, and you're a, yeah, that's right, you eat well during the week, but you went and had a good time on the weekend. Shame on you. Shame on you for having a good time on the weekend. Where we, Effie, if I told you, I'll tell you what our weekend was like. Friday night, we'd smash the gym. We'd finish at 7. Remember, we didn't have mobile phones. Then we'd go to each other. I'm going to pick you up in an hour. We're going out dancing. We're going to go pick up chicks. So in an hour, you've gone home and had a shower and ate your chicken and rice. You've ate your chicken and rice. Then we went out and we had a few drinks. Yeah, we had a few drinks. We didn't think calories. Oh my God, I'm losing the gains. Then, because we were so into our bodies, we didn't pick up chicks because we wanted to have the midnight pizza. Why? Because we thought it was more gains, right? We thought, let's go have a meat lovers, family size. And we all sat around and we had our backs spread and we go, oh my God, you're a bodybuilder too, mate. You're a bodybuilder too. So all the bodybuilders were at pizza places and steakhouses down at the Cross, $10 steak. Then we'd get home at fucking sunrise. And we'd say, listen, this is now 6 a.m. We'd go, see you at the gym at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. we're at the gym, right? And at 12 o'clock, we're at Bondi, lying in the sun. And that was the weekend for 10 years. 10 years. And we still and competing wasn't a big thing. It wasn't about competing. People competed. We actually knew the people that were competing were very serious, and we respected that. And predominantly some of them, which I'm surprised, were natural, but also on the gear. But we didn't care. It wasn't like you had to be at the gym to be in the gear. We believed in natural and we believed in the gear, like whatever you decided to do. But it wasn't so thought out so much. We weren't so methodical. We did eat very clean. We did eat well during the week. Yes, we didn't have McDonald's. We didn't have kebabs. But what I'm saying is, but we didn't think McDonald's was healthy. But now McDonald's is healthy because it's only 450 calories. So what I'm saying is, what's happening, Effie? Because it doesn't seem like a fun place anymore. Because everybody's strategizing. Everyone's got their calculators out. What's going on, Effie?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. There's social media, there's smartphones, there's more and more information out there, there's more awareness. So that comes with good and bad, and different perspectives. But you've got to admit that one positive of it is that yes, there are more people in the gym and more people working on themselves. That's a good thing. And maybe that's not really even aligned with what they really want for themselves. But because there's, this discrepancy, then it's going to make it really difficult to stick to it. Now, if you're also going to the gym only for like external motivation, like only for like validation or to be accepted by others or to look like others, then that's going to be very difficult to not just to maintain, but you're likely to struggle, mentally if you do that. While if you're actually going because, you're going for yourself, you're going for how much it's making you maybe more resilient, you feel like you're tougher, you're pushing yourself past your comfort zone, you feel really good about yourself for that. It's making you deal with other struggles better, which I've certainly found. Then, that's a whole different kind of ballgame, for the reasons that you're going. So I think, you need to really figure out like why are you even doing this?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's good to be. I think it's good. Again, I'm talking to a psychologist. My dad had a lot of vanity. It was dripping down him. He thought he was the best looking guy. He believed he mowed the lawns the best. He believes when he cooked a spaghetti bolognese, it was the best. Made a Greek coffee, it was the best. He played lawn bowls, he was the best. It sometimes could make you not sick. It was like, but when he looked at you, he'd go, "Oh, I really like your earrings. Oh, I love that T-shirt on you." Like he would. That's how he was, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes we need more people like that, not people that have got vanity, people that believe in themselves. That's what we need. And I think going to the gym is part of believing in yourself. But like I said to you, the boys around me that are looking quite amazing, I find them motivational because they're striving for something, and I don't want to strive for what they got. I just want to compete with them, what they got, which is the attitude, which is the hard work, which is the body, which is the big arms. And because it's happening around me, I go, "Oh, I better shape up a little bit. I don't want them to back off. I need to get on up."
Yeah, of course. It's inspirational when you see people that are either you think are better than you or whatever in any way. You know, it's like anything. If you're in the right environment, you can really thrive. You know?
And again, we're gonna get to your ICN in a second, but I just wanted to ask you, because again, we don't know who's listening to this podcast, and and again, I'm not. I kind of don't want to shy away from anything that might be like, why didn't you ask that question? What do you think of people being medicated, right? It's just a general question, this is, right? I know as a psychologist, you don't prescribe medication. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I do know. And possibly not treated accordingly and being, overly medicated, people on taking Valium. Because I was once prescribed Valium and I became addicted to it, which I didn't even know. But thankfully, and I even said to the psychiatrist at the time, "Should I be taking this?" I go, and because I was, and we're not here to tell everyone not to be on Valium, by the way. We're not here. I'm not waiting for these answers. And lastly, what do you think about drugs in sport, especially our sport?
Yeah. So with like the medication for antidepressants or Valium or things like that, I mean, there's a place for them. They exist for a reason, and sometimes you need to take them. You might see a psychologist. I've sometimes recommended people go see their GP or psychiatrist to look into it, or to at least ask their questions and consider it. Because if we're working together, and no matter what I'm suggesting, what we're working on, they just can't quite get to make any changes, then we need to look at maybe there is something biological going on. So there is a place for it, but obviously it needs to be done carefully. It needs to be monitored, and that's really important.
Okay, that was question 1. What about question 2?
Okay, so drugs in sport.
Yeah.
What do I think about it?
Yeah.
If someone wants to do it, they can do it. It's individual preference.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple. Up to the individual.
All right. Okay. That's fair enough. Okay. I mean, I don't know where to go with this. I mean, I could. Well, I personally think you don't need drugs in sport. That's first and foremost. I think you should start the sport and exert and go as far as you can in the sport without drugs. I think, firstly. I think that myself, I took my first cycle at 49, only because I was inquisitive, and I was actually thinking of competing at 50. And not that I needed it, but I probably wasn't as resilient and in the gym as much, and often probably 6 months on, 2 months off, 4 months on, 2 weeks off, 1 year on, 1 year off. It was just kind of like that for a couple of decade throughout different decades. And I took a cycle at 49, and I don't regret it, but I'm not on a cycle now. I haven't touched it for 6 years. Would I do it again? Maybe, because I found the science project, I was more naive, this time a little smarter. So maybe I'll try the science project again with a different mindset or a different approach. But if someone said to me to take drugs, I'll say no, because at what point have you disciplined your body to take drugs. Does that make sense? Like, what? Because you're at the gym for 1 month. All right. Well, if you want to take drugs, go take drugs. If you want to,
Yeah, no, I totally hear your perspective. Yeah.
yeah. I just thought I'd share that. That's my
Yeah.
perspective. So 2019, gym started getting stronger physically to match. Yes, and to match how much stronger you wanted. Sorry, let me get it right. 2019, your gym started getting stronger physically to match how much stronger you got mentally. So you're obviously getting mentally stronger. So now you wanted your physical strength to be on par. And one of the things you learnt was with strength training is that as you get stronger and push past comfort zones physically, you actually become stronger mentally too.
Yeah. So that kind of surprised me, but it was because also I had and still do this trainer who kept pushing me, and I thought, like, I'm done, I've hit failure. But she's like, no, you haven't. Keep going. She could see what I couldn't see, and so and then I could actually push. I was destroyed after, but I could push. But there's something quite amazing about pushing like that. And finding some, by that stage, it's almost like not even about physical strength anymore. It's all mental. Yeah. Because you can't, it's about not telling yourself I can't do it, but finding like a way to just push past that and focus on what you need to do and get it done. Yeah. And I really felt that made me stronger mentally. I even felt I could be more assertive after that. It just changed something, in my brain. So it was very, very cool realization.
It is. It's also when you train to try to keep that up. There's periods in training where you go past pain thresholds, and then there's periods where you can't be fucked getting close to it. Like, that's enough. I'm getting out of here. I want to go home. But keep going to the gym regardless. So that's what's so good about it. All right, but then 2020, you decide to go on dating sites, eh? And then here you go, you find yourself a new partner who's actually pretty much now a gym buddy, let's call it. And he himself enjoys the gym, training and competing, correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously a healthier diet and lifestyle, but he saw potential in you, and he recommended and encouraged you to compete. So you got the specific, I guess, trainer, coach, and now 4 years later you're still together. Yep. And to go to the next, because there's that's two questions I believe so far. Effie, 2 questions in there. So you did. I feel like I've got a teacher here, Chris. Someone's paying attention too much. INBA 2021 was your first comp. A bit nervous, but loved it. 2022. You did it again, and you enjoyed INBA. That's 3 questions, or 4, could be 5. I don't know.
Okay.
I was sarcastic. Sorry, I'm a smart ass too.
Good.
Sorry.
All good. So that's all correct. So I started with that. I started with that federation. I didn't really know much, to be honest, about federations. I just thought, okay, I'll start there, I really enjoyed it. It was a really lovely community kind of feel to it. Everyone was very supportive of each other backstage, and for me to go out of my comfort zone like that and stand on a stage and be in a bikini, and it was, I couldn't believe that I did that.
What did your family think about it?
My family was, not used to this. My parents came to that competition and brought my kids with me, and my dad, my poor dad, watching the bikini girls and turning around and doing the back pose, and he's like, I don't know where to look. Where am I meant to look?
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of, because I've been to the shows anyway, but that reminds me of when my daughter told me to come to her pole dancing end of year class where they do a big party, and I'm watching these girls doing these splits on the fucking pole, and I was sitting there going, I think we're already separated, but I said, if anything's going to sign, seal, deliver it, it's me in this room right now. Like, this is, I didn't know where to look either. I was like, where do I look? So I can understand your dad's struggles. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I think again, going out of my comfort zone by being on stage, it made me feel amazing. Like I've conquered, a fear, and that's how I sort of got the bug for it. I just wanted to keep pushing myself. I felt like I was bettering myself in some way by doing that. So I continued it.
Did your dad make it? Was he all right at the end?
He survived.
He survived. Yeah. And what do you like in prep? What do you like in prep? You like prep?
Yeah, I do.
I
like having a goal. I like having that goal to work towards. I like the challenge, that there is lots of different challenges throughout the way, whether it's because you're fatigued and there's so many things you need to do, as well as keep going with your life. So it challenges me to find some way to balance things and prioritize things differently. So yeah, I like the challenge of it.
I've never competed. I was telling Chris, I've had when I say I've had a competitive body, I never thought I had a competitive body till I've seen what I've seen, because it's so big and loud and proud at the moment, this competing, right? It's like it's like a pageant now. Like there's competitions between March till November. You could have a comp every month, a couple of comps, right, all over Australia. Where I don't know, we just didn't know that, and it was the serious buggers that did compete. It was just open class, and maybe a women's open class, which was 2 women. So there wasn't much going on, or 3. Like it wasn't anything. And fitness, I think there was fitness as well then. And I think about competing, and I'm afraid. I don't know why. I feel like not doing it's easier. I don't know why. Like I prefer to get the body in shape and not get on the stage. But I'm intrigued about the stage because it looks like an empowering, uplifting feeling. But I don't know why I feel nervous about it. It actually scares me even talking about it. Don't know why. Yeah. Even though I thought about competing at 2019, and I did a little bit in 2022. I had a little thing about it. I don't know what it is. Yeah, don't know what it is. Can you help me?
Yeah, I think again, like you need to figure out, for anyone really, why you want to do it. I think that's the thing, because there are many times in comp prep where it's easy to give up, and to think, oh, this is too hard, or this is too nerve-wracking, or too challenging, whatever it is. But you need to really be clear, like, why you're doing it. How is it helping you, not just with your physique, but outside of that? I mean, it's amazing to see gains you've made and like sort of the product of your hard work in a comp. That's one of the amazing benefits of it as well. But you need to figure out mentally, like, why you want to do it. How is this going to help me? And to keep reminding that to yourself.
I mean, there's a few reasons, I think, for me maybe, but I don't know if they're life-changing. But
only one way to find out.
Yeah, I know, but I don't. Yeah, I don't. But I don't want to do it. I'm trying to be a realist here. I don't want to do it because I want to do it so I'm mentally strong. That's not what I want to do it for. I don't want to do it because I'm going to be a nice person. I want to do it to fucking compete and fucking get on stage and show off a body and vanity and fucking go for it. And it's the 100-meter sprint and I want to beat the guy next to me. Like, that's how I am. I'm like, that's kind of, but that also intimidates me. God, you know what I mean? Like, because I don't want it to be, for me, that is, I don't want it to be, empowering. I've got enough. I can go find empowering. I don't have to go stage. But the stage intrigues me for competition, because I've never done it for so long. I have not competed against another person.
You want the challenge of that.
Yeah, I want to challenge myself to be breathing the mongrel of competition. Now, I don't want to think I have to win, but I want to beat Conor McGregor though. I want to know. I want to be a boxer. I want to say, I'm going to win, man. I'm going to fucking win. I'm going to win. I don't give a fuck. Because a boxer, even when the boxer loses, he doesn't talk like he's a loser. Conor McGregor didn't talk about being a loser, but he did talk about winning. And I guess that's the only reason I compete. It'd be about winning. I'm into winning, which is...
That's why you find it so intimidating then.
Yes, 100%. Another bill that might be sent, Chris. You just answered something for me, and we could be getting a second bill for telling me why I'm intimidated. Okay, so it boosts your confidence so much more that you went and did the IFBB Pro League in Melbourne 2024. Is that correct? How was that? How was going Pro League?
That was an amazing experience. That was incredible.
Yeah?
Loved it.
It looked like a great year this year. It looked like a really good year in bodybuilding.
Yeah, well, there's so many competitors and so many people, and so it was so different to to the INBA, but there was such a buzz, and it was amazing.
Did you feel like a rock star?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I worked hard to get to that day, so it felt amazing to get to that stage, literally.
You looked amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
No, you did. You looked amazing. You're a good one. You looked amazing. Well done for getting to that point. Your smile said it all, and your appearance showed it, and your attitude as well. So I commend you on getting there and doing it. I think I've come to realize more so now what that stage means to many people. But I have to emphasize to a lot of people, if getting on stage is going to make you love bodybuilding, you'll be wrong about it. Bodybuilding is just a wonderful thing to do. The stage is a destination on the journey of bodybuilding.
Yeah. You got to love the bodybuilding part.
Yeah, you got to love the bodybuilding part. Like if someone said you get a choice, stage or bodybuilding, I hope you choose bodybuilding, because bodybuilding is fun. But I do appreciate the people that are on stage. I really, I can feel bodybuilding has given us, everybody, a pageant that probably didn't allow their natural beauty to be able to represent Venezuela or represent Finland. You know what I mean? But bodybuilding has allowed us to, not the guys, but put on high heels in a bikini. I mean, they should give you a sash, but I think they do that in FMG now as well as WBF. But so after competing in bodybuilding and connecting with more competitors over time, have you noticed a huge gap in mental health and bodybuilding, not just with handling mental health demands and competing, but that many competitors use getting to the comps as a mental health tool as well, feeling empowered, like they've never felt empowered. But so have you noticed that?
Yeah, absolutely. They're sweeping a lot of things under the rug, and then unfortunately some, blaming bodybuilding or competing for that when it's not really to do with that.
No, it's not. But like you said, I think you said something like, go seek. Don't think of bodybuilding as therapy. It's possibly just a tool. But
it's a tool, and it's a way to also take care of yourself. This might sound kind of airy-fairy kind of thing, but like it's also a way to show yourself some self-love. It's a way that you're taking care of yourself. You're showing yourself you care, about your well-being.
Yeah.
So it's that's where it helps you a lot as well.
But I agree. I do tell people to go. I always recommend. I recommend seeing a psychologist every day of the week. It's just very important. There's nothing like a good unbiased opinion. It's just a wonderful thing. I think we need a good biased one, but we do need a good unbiased opinion. Yeah. So you mentioned here your writing. So as you overcame different struggles and pushing yourself past your comfort zone, you are now eager to teach others by not just your own experiences, but various psychological tools that help with anxiety, depression, and stress.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So what I'm referring to there is, being able to kind of shut out the noise and to focus on what you're there to do. It's very easy, to go even to the gym and bring all your worries there, and then you're focusing on that, on all those stresses, and you're not really focusing on what you're doing. Or like I said, when, my trainer pushes me to do some more reps and I feel that I can't, I've got to somehow shut out the noise, the voice in my head that tells me you can't do it. And so they're the kind of psychological tools I'm referring to, and they're things like mindfulness, where you're being more present and you might notice thoughts or feelings, but you come back to just being right there in the moment. There's also other tools like hypnosis. There's self-hypnosis, something you can do yourself to help you focus. So there's different things like that. And then, of course, when I talk about psychological tools, it's also looking at what else is like getting in the way of you being able to focus. Are there other worries that we just need to address so that they're addressed and you've solved those problems? It's that kind of thing. What is getting in the way of you doing what you want or what you want to achieve?
I couldn't say it better. 2 questions from one person in the viewing. By the way, nobody asks me questions. I think the most unknown person probably got questions asked. Priscilla Lorenza asked 2 questions, and we'll try to kind of talk about, understand it a bit better. When is competing in bodybuilding no longer worth it? And my answer was, I guess, when it's not fun. What's your answer to that?
Yeah, well, when you no longer contribute something positive to your life, if you're not getting anything out of it,
I'm writing what you're saying.
Yeah, and you're just resentful of the whole process. You're not enjoying the process. Then it's not for you, and that's absolutely fine. Keeping active is important, so you can certainly find another physical or fitness pursuit. It doesn't have to be bodybuilding, but it needs to be fun. It needs to be enjoyable. You need to feel like you're getting something out of it. It makes you feel good.
Yep. What are good reasons for someone to compete in bodybuilding competitions? What would be a good reason? If someone was thinking, oh, I feel like competing, but I don't know why I'd want to compete, what are good reasons you'd say to someone?
It's a difficult one to, I can give suggestions, but it's a difficult one to answer specifically.
It is.
It really needs to come from you. Not, you wouldn't want someone to tell you, you really should compete because of X, Y, Z. So the first thing is one way to kind of get a bit deeper into it is to think like, okay, what really matters to me? Like, what are my values? Okay, so is health important to you? Is self-improvement, self-growth important to you? Are you someone that wants to be more resilient? So they're kind of the more internal kind of motivators. And then are there like external things, like you do want to build your body, you want to be stronger physically, you want to look a certain way, maybe you want to improve your physique in some way, and so that that is one other reason. But those are kind of bodybuilding reasons. They're not necessarily competing reasons. So in order to compete, you need to really be clear why you're doing it. And so it might be about, I want to improve myself, I want to be more resilient, I want to be able to go out of my comfort zone, stand on the stage, and that can improve your confidence. So you need to look deep into what matters to you.
What about I'm just step out of your
comfort zone.
Yep. And what about an excuse to set goals. Maybe the
Absolutely, yeah. To set goals, to get a sense of achievement out of accomplishing something. Absolutely, all of those things.
Okay, I might send her a bill because I think I answered the questions. I'm not. I try to be funny. God, you're a tough crowd, man. I'm expecting big laughter from you, but you laugh like Chris. Not a lot. Okay. Do you think what is in our food, so many chemicals, additives, numbers in drinks, quick snacks, food, quick fixes, that has possibly exacerbated the heightened rise and elevation of feelings? Could it all be relieved with possibly also a good diet, replenishment in food and liquid?
Okay, first of all, like, nutrition is not my area of expertise, but so I'll answer it kind of differently. Absolutely, what you eat can affect your mood. Generally speaking, if you're eating healthy, wholesome food, then you're going to feel better in yourself. There's no doubt about that. I think where we have to be careful with food when it comes to mental health is not to use it as a tool for your mental health, right? So where people get into comfort eating and then end up binging and things like that, that's where it becomes a problem. So, when you talk about other ways to comfort yourself where you're not relying on food for that.
Okay, that's good. Post-comp blues. What is it exactly? Even off-season blues. Tell me about the post that you've recently put up about the well-being questionnaire.
Oh yeah. So something that many competitors experience is after this high and the glamour of competing and being on stage. It's such a dopamine high, and you get off the stage and then there's this like crash. The goal is no longer there. You've just competed. Your hormones are all out of whack. You're fatigued, and you start eating gradually more normally, and obviously naturally you put on weight. Your physique is going to change, and a lot of people struggle with all those changes. And there tends to be a bit of a crash for some people, not everybody, in like motivation and things like that. So it's kind of like going from one stage to another stage that really makes it difficult for people to struggle. And some people are ashamed of it. They don't want to talk about it. Maybe ashamed of how they look, ashamed of the fact that they're struggling. And even though they've just achieved this big goal and feel like I really should be happy, I've just achieved this big thing. And so that this is what the post-comp blues are, and they feel down, and maybe their relationship with food isn't great either. So that questionnaire that I developed was, because there's so many different little components that people struggle with, and I feel like they either don't talk about it, or they're not really sure what to do about it. And the first step to addressing it is actually first to identify, okay, what is exactly I'm struggling with. And so I just created this questionnaire that just for you to, it's like a self-reflection kind of tool. It just lists a whole bunch of different things that you may be struggling with, and just to tick it and just say, yep, I do struggle with this. I do have issues with, with my food. I do put myself down, or whatever it might be. So I've put a whole bunch of things there. So just so that you're firstly able to acknowledge, okay, I'm struggling. This is what I'm struggling with. I can see it visually now. And then you might take that to your coach and just have, be really courageous about it, but have a talk to them and say, look, I am struggling. Here are the things I'm struggling with. It helps you communicate it better. And then, if you need more support that's, outside of the scope of what your coach can offer, then that's where mental health support, is really important, so that you don't struggle, you don't stay stuck. Yeah.
It seems quite common, doesn't it, for some reason?
It is common.
Is it more is it more common with the females than the males, or is equal?
I think it's equal. I don't know for sure the stats, but I've definitely heard from both genders express it.
Yeah, it is. I never knew about it till I started this podcast, and then people talked about the post-comp blues a lot. So you're on a mission to bridge the gap between bodybuilding and mental health, so that competitors can be more resilient, mentally healthy, and have more enjoyment and fulfilling journey to the stage, as well as post-show and in their off-season.
Yeah.
I'm sure that goes for all. What I'm going to say is I'm sure that also goes for people that just go to the gym and are competing in other sports and gym goers. Yeah?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think at the end of the day, if you've got a goal, to keep it really simple, if you've got a goal and something's getting in the way, and that something is your thoughts and your feelings, then that can be addressed. That you don't have to navigate that on your own. There's help out there, and if you navigate, then you feel like you're more empowered, you're more on top of it, and you can achieve what you set out to achieve much better.
Okay. So you want to bridge the gap.
Absolutely.
And so tell us about the 2 tattoos on your hamstrings.
There's nothing to tell about them. I like flowers. I just thought it's pretty, to be honest. It's not even like meaningful.
Pretty.
Yeah.
Any other tattoos that we don't know about?
No, that's it.
And when did you get those tattoos?
I got them from here in Melbourne, I forget the name of the place now, but it's in the Docklands in Melbourne, from a really beautiful Chinese lady who does I don't even know what you call it, but anyway, this beautiful, very fine art. She does like fine art drawings of flowers is her specialty. Yeah.
But my main question was like, when did you get it done? Like,
when?
When? But if we have to go find a Chinese lady, Chris, we're going to the Docklands to find a Chinese lady to do Chinese flowers, mate. If you want to know.
When? Like, it wasn't that long ago. Like a year and a half ago.
Why a rebel now, mate? Why a rebel with tattoos? And what did
you see what bodybuilding's done to me?
And what do your parents think of that? Jesus Christ! First, you got your dad looking at people's bum cracks on stage. Now you got tattoos near it. What's going on? Poor dad.
Yeah. I think the reaction was. And that was it.
They're probably thinking, is she really a psychologist? Do we have to send her to a psychologist? They're probably thinking. And why there? Why there?
I just like the look of it. I just like it.
You like it, huh? It's predominantly just on the side there, isn't it? Kind of thing.
Yeah, on each side. Yeah.
On each side, yeah?
Yeah.
Bravo, Effie. Evgenia. I think in Greek it's called Evgenia. Eva? I think that's Eva. Effie, Evgenia. I don't know what it is. What do I know? Okay. I just wanted to know with the tattoos.
Yeah, fair enough.
Did you feel like when you got a tattoo, did you feel like you were 25% more attitude, 25% stronger, but only lasts for like 24 hours?
Something like that.
You get a tattoo and you think you're like, oh, don't take me on. I've got attitude, man. Don't come near me. I'm spunky. I'm dangerous.
What it was definitely not
dangerous.
As painful as I thought.
Not as painful.
No, actually, I don't know. Maybe I'm a freak like that, but when I got it done, I expected it to be painful. I was falling asleep. Found it relaxing.
Jesus Christ.
I know. And it was many hours.
I think we might use that as a hook bait for this podcast. We might say how relaxing you fell asleep doing tattoos. Yeah. Because we all know you're a psychologist, so we're going to have to throw the tattoo line in so they go, what the fuck? I've listened to this podcast. Chris, make sure you document tattoo, falling asleep, and upsetting her dad. All right? Just remember that. Or a lot of upsetting her dad. All right? Only joking. So you don't mind... Oh, yeah, well, we said you're still doing deadlifts, apparently. That's what you said. You're still doing deadlifts. Well, Effie, we're going to go over the body now. You're going to be a personal trainer. All right, we come to the end of the podcast. Okay. So we're going to ask you... I'm going to tell you a body part. You're going to tell me if you train it, and you're just going to give me one exercise, sets and reps. Pretty simple.
Do my best.
You don't do it, say no. You answered it like a true psychologist, possibly a clinical one. You know, sitting on the fence there for a little bit. But anyway, that's our story. I tell you what, I love psychologists, by the way. I think, you know, they're so needed. And the fact that you guys, I think it's just an added bonus, and I know it sounds strange, it's an added bonus that you guys aren't allowed next to drugs. I think the fact that you can use so many other tools, which makes you stronger to help people, and just not a quick fix by writing a prescription, I think the joy of having a psychologist is safe enough to feel no one's going to push anything down your throat other than a conversation. And so that's why I love psychologists. I think, I think they're very good. That's what I think anyway. Okay, sets and reps. Traps. Do you try traps?
Yes.
Oh, you train traps. Okay. What exercise do you do for traps?
Okay, this is the problem because I'm not good with names of exercises. I'll just
All
say,
right.
okay, I'll do a bit of this and like.
All right. Well,
Would that be
traps
would
is
that be
the
a
trap.
pull down like a narrow one?
No, so the traps is this. This is the trap, correct? The trap.
Yeah, no, I know that's the traps.
Yeah.
But I think lat pull down like a narrow one.
A narrow lat pull down. Okay,
Does
yeah,
that
that's
train
okay.
that?
Lat pull down. How many sets and reps?
Oh my gosh.
Like, is it three
how
sets
many
of 10
sets?
or 2 sets of 15?
Three. Oh well, it's 3 sets usually. Yeah, 3 sets. I'm not going to say a number. I'll just go till failure.
Wow. Okay. No, people say that.
Like,
All right.
So
Delt.
till I basically collapse.
Okay. Wow. That's why everyone hates their trainers. Delts. Now, delts. We're going to talk about side delts. What do you do for your side delt?
Yeah, is that lateral raises? Is
Lateral
that one of
raises.
those?
Yeah. I'll help you through this. Yeah. Lateral
Okay,
raises.
thank you.
Again, how about sets and reps?
I just follow a program. You know,
Of course.
whatever it says, I do that.
No. It's all good. See, this is the first time you're laughing because you're out of your comfort zone now. Now I've got you as a personal trainer and you're not a personal trainer. So now I've got it. Now I've got a human. Now I've got her as human, right? So, lateral raises, yeah, sets and reps. How many sets? How many reps?
Okay, so I did that this morning. Yeah, it's always 3.
3.
It's always 3 sets.
Yeah.
And reps, I try and make the first one past 10 reps. So it was like I think 12, and then yeah.
Okay.
I'll see how I go the next one.
Okay.
There's no specific number.
Front delts. That's the front of your shoulder. Like, do you do?
What the hell do I do for that?
Do you do raises?
Oh yes, I've done those. Yes, front. Yep, I've done
Front
those.
raises?
Yep.
Yeah,
Again, it's always 3.
Yeah. Go ahead.
3 sets always, and at least 10 for the first one.
Okay.
My trainer likes me to do 15 for the first one. Well, I do my best to get to that.
Rear delts. It's back of the shoulder.
my.
Do you do like a cable pull? A cable
Yes,
extensions?
done that.
Yep.
Yep.
How many sets and reps?
Same answer.
Same thing.
3
3
sets.
10.
At
Right.
least
Okay.
10, yep.
All right, got it. Back. What's a back exercise? That's your laterals.
Yeah. So what is that thing I do to that? T-bar row. Is that
Yeah,
your back?
T-bar row. Yeah, okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Sets and
That's
reps,
the
same thing.
exercise.
3. First one up to 10.
Yep.
Okay. Chest.
Okay. So bench presses or dumbbell bench presses.
3 sets of 10. First one 10.
3, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. List. Yep.
Abs.
Abs. I don't train abs that much, but here and there when I've had it, it was oh god, you know when you pull down the thing.
Oh,
The
you're talking
cable
about
on your knees?
rope
The-
crunches. You do crunches,
Crunches, that's
rope, whatever it's called. I don't know the name
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
3 sets of 10. First one is
Yes.
okay. Bicep.
I say bicep curls.
Yeah. Okay.
Love
3.
biceps.
All right. 3 sets of 10. We've got it. Tricep.
Tricep. The rope pull downs.
Yep. Okay. Cable pull down. Yeah. All right. 3 sets of 10. What? You don't train these, but if I say them anyway. Forearms. What about the forearm? Do you train the forearm?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Quads.
Quads. Yeah. Okay. There's lots of options there. Goblet squats.
Oh, goblet squats. Okay. How many sets and reps there?
Yeah. You know what I'm going to say.
3 sets of 10. Okay.
3 at least 10 to start with.
Hamstring.
Leg curls.
Yeah. Lying or lying,
um,
seated or standing.
Lying.
Lying down. Okay, we know. Calves.
Calf raises. Yeah, on the machine.
Standing.
Yep.
Technical name, tibialis. Tibialis is the front of the calf, like the front part of your leg.
I don't think I'd train that.
Oh, there you go.
Not
And
specifically.
glutes.
Glutes. Okay. So many things. We'll go with the glute thrust.
Yeah, the hip thrust.
The hip thrust, but on the machine.
Okay, and is that 3 sets of 10 as well?
At least, yep.
Well, if we made it. We finally made you laugh towards the end and actually not know what you're talking about. We got her at the end, right through the whole thing. You definitely did a very good job about knowing what you're talking about. And I hope you discovered what kind of case study I am. And when you send me my bill, can you please put down what I should fix with myself? This is an opportunity to promote yourself. So where can everyone find Effie?
Thank you. So you can find me firstly on Instagram. So I'm called as the bodybuilding psychologist. So _bodybuilding_psychologist.
Yep.
And if you go there is like a link to my website, so you can read more about me, how to work with me. There's also a link to various little tools that I've put together. So you can access it there.
Wonderful. Effie. Wow, our first psychologist, Chris. We've got 2 hours of a free session. We'll never have it happen again. I can tell you right now, because not many psychologists. I don't know if there's many psychologists. There's many psychologists doing bodybuilding out there.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I'd love to meet more.
Maybe you should put it out there. Maybe you should start a podcast with psychologists and bodybuilders.
Yeah, I think in the near future there'll be more, because I have had some psychology university students reach out to me and say that they love what I'm doing because they're studying that now as well, and they also are bodybuilding. So in the near future, more will graduate and come out.
More will graduate. Well, Effie, I want to say thanks.
Pleasure.
It was a pleasure.
For having me.